Hey everyone, Nubkeks here. Welcome to our look at the patch notes for November 7th. We're on the PTR. Huge changes, really cool stuff. We're gonna have Varian in here. We also have some big hero reworks to Zeratul, to Kharazim, and then even a smaller kind of talent, little bit of a tweak, little bit of a rework to Illidan. Changes to how stealth works, amongst a bunch of other things. We're gonna dive right into this. As you can see over here, I'm just diving into this. I got my dressing gown on. We don't have the green screen or anything, so you can see the back of my bedroom. How exciting! But yeah, this just came up. I just saw it, and I wanted to just dive straight into it. So what the heck? We're just gonna go right in there. So here we go. Patch notes. They're just out, brand new. There's gonna be a new brawl, which is Blackheart's Revenge. If you're interested in that, I think the cool thing about this is that it's an attack defense style mechanic. So. It's not a symmetrical map, but rather one team will take a turn at attacking while the other one defends, then they'll swap around, and then the other team will be defending while the other one attacks. Pretty damn cool. Only the attacking team has a core, and they must stop Blackheart before he sails across the battlefield to destroy it. So that's kind of cool. There's going to be a shuffle pick. Attacking team gathers cannonballs, loads them into cannons and fire on the ship, and then the defenders have to kill heroes to stop them shooting the ship. Pretty cool. I like the sound of it, honestly. It sounds like the most interesting brawl so far to me, by far. So hopefully we'll see kind of new ways like that. I love the idea of like an attacking defense, the idea of an asymmetrical map. For example, in Overwatch, you have the same idea. You have some symmetrical maps, but also asymmetrical ones, and it'd be cool to bring those into a traditional MOBA. That's what I think. There's also going to be revamped tutorials, so you've got just general tutorials and then battleground training. So the basics of leveling, talents, merc camps, and how to play, basically. And then there's also going to be the battleground training, which will be about battleground objectives. I think this is really well timed with the whole Nexus Challenge Initiative, bringing people from Overwatch into Heroes of the Storm. Better tutorials, teaching you, number one, okay, this is how you play a MOBA, and then number two, this is how you play this MOBA, where all the maps matter, and all the objectives matter, and it's not like the other MOBAs out there, where they're not as big of a deal. I think that's pretty damn cool, and you can also use different heroes. It's not just Raynor now. You can choose Jaina, Muradin, and Tyrande, so that's kind of nice, and add one of these three heroes to the collection for free, so there you go. Really nice little boost, nice little buff to new players joining with the tutorials, so I think it's great timing for it. Awesome. Next up, you're going to have Varian being added to the game. He is the first hero ever that's going to be a multi-class hero. He can be a warrior or assassin. It's going to depend very much on his heroics. We're going to do a video on Varian, so we're not going to get too in-depth right here. But essentially, you can choose Taunt and become a tank, so it'll give you 50% more max health, but reduce your attack speed, and you can taunt a hero to attack Varian. Kind of like a Dahakatung, sort of, except I presume longer range. We'll find out when we actually get to play him, which we will do, because we are on the PTR. And look, there he is, looking pretty good. In fact, obviously won't tell us the range. 25-second cooldown though. Let's go back over here. Colossus Smash. In fact, let's do it in the game. Why the heck not? Colossus Smash, which will give you 75% increased attack damage, but you'll lose 10% life. And then I think this is a bit of a jump. Again, we'll find out. But you jump on an enemy hero, kind of a gap closer, you do some damage, and make them vulnerable for 3 seconds on a very short cooldown. So this is sort of two-hand. Oh, basically, he'll pull out a shield, so have a one-handed sword and a shield. This will be a double-handed sword. So this is tanky, this one is like burst damage, and then Twin Blades of Fury, he splits the sword in two, gets 2 smaller swords. So 100% increased attack speed, but his attack damage is 25% reduced. However, it's all about his heroic strike. This is by default 18-second cooldown, and it empowers your next facing attack to do a chunk of bonus damage. Normally attacks reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds. With this, they reduce it by 9, so every 2 hits, you'll get, boom, another heroic strike. So it's all going to be about, like, doop, doop, boom, doop, doop, boom. These, like, 3-hit combos, I presume, for the most part. So you can have stuns and stuff interrupting, and you never know, you might get an extra one in. I don't know. It also gives you movement speed whenever you do that. So kind of a bit of a Samuro-style gameplay, like hitting fast and getting these bonus hits. Kind of interesting, right, that he's coming out straight after that. But there you go. That is the look at Varian. Obviously have to buy him and get right on top of making a video for you guys very soon. We'll check out all this other stuff right there, but give you a little bit of an overview, a little bit of a hint of what's going on. Alarak, the red and green icons for sustaining power, negatively charged talents have been switched. Let's actually take a look at that. I think it's on this tier. Yeah, so sustaining, so the one that heals you is now green, and the one that removes healing is now red. Cool, makes sense. Catapults, now you'll be able to see them on the minimap. That's cool. And Misha, see her on the minimap as well. So that's nice. Dragonshire will run a little bit better. Kharazim has been reworked and will receive some basically updated effects. Pretty nice. Mercalord and Promote talents are going to look different. Curious to see what they are. Falling Sword. Triple tap is going to be team colored. Woo! Make it even easier to dodge. And then Adrenaline Rush is going to basically Raynor is going to have this marker under his feet, letting you know when his Adrenaline Rush is ready to go, just so you don't have to look at that ability bar all the way down there. So that's kind of nice. And then optimization for some stuff. Basic attack for Tracer now is optimized visually, so your game will run smoother. No longer will Tracer's basic attacks crash your game if it did. Got some bundles, remove bundles if you're interested in that. And then some of this stuff. Reworks price has been reduced to 7,000 gold. That's kind of nice. And then bundles, you can pause it if you want to see those. New sound effects for the tutorial, nice. And then just more sound effects as well for Kharazim. He's getting a big rework, pretty nice. There's AFK detection in Heroes Brawl, great. And there's new daily quests. Played 3 versus AI games. Prior to reaching level 10. Alright, cool. So just helping new players again, adjusts the game more easily. That's very nice. This one is a pretty big deal. Auto select, okay, before you get into all the stealth stuff and then the hero stuff down here. Auto select. Instead of just auto selecting a hero, in fact, can we check it out in the game? There's talents in the way. Here we go. We hit auto select, and then look at this. Choose the desired role. Okay, I want all warrior heroes. Oh no, they're all included, so we can exclude them. Okay, I only want multi-class heroes. We can't do it because we don't own Varian. We want to play the specialists. Alright, we want to play supports and assassins. You can basically queue up with auto select for whatever you want. So okay, I just want to play assassins or specialists today. I'm just being a damage dealer because I want long queues. Or you know what? Let's go warrior and support. Let's get really short queues. Maybe a multi-class. What the heck? And that's kind of nifty. I quite like that. I think you can also do it with favorites as well. I don't know if we've got any favorites set up. In fact, let's try and see if we can do that. I think you do favorites over here. So let's just go boop, 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 boop. There we go. 3 favorites. Can we do this? Okay, I'm not sure how to do that off the top of this thing. It doesn't strike me as obvious. Total at least 5 heroes. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. Read the thing more. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, here we go. No. Okay. I'm confused. Forget it. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. I don't know. There's also new commendations being added to the game. I'm still disappointed that they have the frickin' exit button on the MVP screen. They shouldn't have that. They should have the MVP announcement be shorter. The way it used to be, it's too long now. And then have like 10 seconds before the exit button pops up. And then you can exit and everyone's happy. I don't understand why they changed the MVP screen. Every single game, everyone, as soon as MVP comes up, boom, everyone clicks exit, no one votes. It's stupid. They need to fix it. I'm glad they added additional commendations, but just either revert the change they made before or change it again. It's stupid the way it is now, honestly. I don't understand. I didn't understand why they wanted it changed in the first place. Something to do with performance for people, I guess. But I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm super confused by it, and it doesn't work anymore. So fix it, please, Blizzard. Now, into the cool stuff. Stealth. Stealth has been changed. Abilities that reveal stealth or cloaked heroes will no longer remove the stealth or cloak effect, but instead just temporarily reveal them. So a big boost to stealth. You know, when Brightwing pops her thing and reveals the stealth, it doesn't just knock him out of stealth and tough luck, you got no stealth for a while. You still have that, but you're just seeing. That is such a huge deal. Also, this is pretty crazy. So if another player stealths you, for example, Tyranda's Shadowstalk, I presume Medivh's Invisibility, what else can give you stealth? I'm not sure. But anyway, if you do that, you start getting bonuses from that. Some talents, only some talents. But for example, Nova gets a bunch of stuff through stealth from other people. Samuro gets some pretty powerful stuff through stealth from other people. So that's kind of nice. And there's also going to be things like Scouting Drown is going to now reveal stealth as well. So you'll be able to see through that with that talent, making that talent more powerful. But there you go. They're saying, you know, it's a bit too binary. Oh yeah, this is a nerf to Oracle for sure. Yeah, Medivh's Invisibility would be the other one. But yeah, there you go. So you can kind of combo your stealth together a bit more, and stealth is not going to be as easy to get rid of. So that's pretty nice. I like those changes a lot, making the stealth here is a bit more relevant. And also there's a Zeratul rework, so yeah, expect a lot of Zeratul, a lot more stealth shenanigans. The Dragon Knight and the Garden Terror, I'm going to take 50% reduced duration of blinds. That makes a lot of sense, seeing as they're resistant to like all the other forms of crowd control, I think. And there you go, Scouting Drone, again, reveals stealth heroes. And Seasoned Marksman has been buffed. There's no cap. You can just keep stacking it up as much as you want, so this is a much more powerful talent. And then once you do hit that 40 bonus damage to complete the quest, Again, you can keep stacking it, but you get that activatable ability. It's now going to be 40% attack speed. So nice solid buff to Seasoned Marksman. Expect Seasoned Marksman to be picked up quite a bit more. Yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see. Now, let's go through the heroes. First up, we've got Alarak, who has actually got a buff. They've increased the range of Lightning Surge by 10%. So Alarak is, I think, definitely at high-level play, tier 1 right now. He's an absolute beast, crazy solo laner. Does so much damage. His pick potential is crazy. And this just makes Lightning Surge easier to use. I expect to see a lot more Alarak going forwards. Now, let's look at Illidan. Illidan. Okay, so first of all, let's hop over here. Let's jump into the game. Let's take a look at him in the game. Right, here we go. So, Immolation is still the same. Battered Assault, though, now increases Sweeping Strike's basic attacks from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. And if it hits 2 heroes, you get, instead of 35% bonus damage on your basic attacks, 150%. Basically, all of these changes are focusing mostly on W, right? W here. You get another W change here. And then the Q nerf right here. So big buffs to, it's going to be very large buffs to a W build with Illidan. And that's what I would actually expect to see going forwards. Unending Hatred has also been buffed here. What's it do before? Okay, so you get, instead of 10 bonus attack damage, you gain 20. So now it is every minion you kill gives you 0.1 attack damage. Every takedown, 1 damage. When you reach 20 damage, you get an additional 20. So for a total of 40 bonus attack damage. That's pretty nice. Over here, number 4, Unbound is a new thing. So it doesn't reduce the cooldown of Sweeping Strike anymore, but if you hit 30 heroes with Sweeping Strike, you gain a second charge. I think this is going to be really good now. I actually would prefer this to friend or foe. The extra dive range is great, and on allies is nice and all, but going over the walls and terrain is somewhat useful, and very easy to hit 30 heroes with that, and the second charge is going to be a big deal. I'm looking at, you know, Battered Assault, being able to activate that very easily with Unbound, also giving you like 2 charges to escape, more mobility, and then at level 16 getting that Blades of Azeroth, hitting 5 heroes with Sweeping Strikes, much easier to stack that up. So now you got a pretty cool build right here where you're gonna hit heroes 5 seconds after hitting them with Sweeping Strikes. You're gonna get 150% bonus attack damage. Then you're gonna be able to activate Blades of Azeroth very easily, getting another 75%. You're gonna have 2 charges to kind of keep that up and maintain it very well. That's pretty sick. I'm pretty excited to see what else Illidan is gonna be able to do with these changes. He's fallen down in the meta. He's become quite not great actually, so this might bring him back up. Thirsting Blade, so the healing of Thirsting Blade, which is your Sweeping Strike, grants more lifesteal. So again, another actually boost to, I didn't notice this the first time I was looking at it, another boost to the W build, gonna be 60% instead of 50%. So you're gonna get, like, you could, you know, Battered Assault, Unbound, Thirsting Blade, then whatever here, Nimble Defender, then Blades of Azeroth. You've got a pretty crazy W build coming out. So there you go, guys. Stay tuned for that. That's a pretty huge deal. Pretty huge deal for Illidan. Mark for Death has been nerfed. So yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards a W build for Illidan right now. Should be pretty cool to see that in action. I'll have a video hopefully out testing that out. Should be pretty cool. See some pretty nice escapes with Unbound. Should be fun to see. Next up we've got Raynor. So Adrenaline Rush's E will now display a thing under his feet, so you don't have to look down an extra foot. No, not like a foot, a few inches. I don't know what that is. Depends on your monitor size to see exactly what that is. Now, big changes to Thrall, guys. Big changes to Thrall. I forgot to mention this at the start. Earthquake now does 50 damage to heroes with each pulse. I think it fires off like 3 or 4 pulses. A little bit of damage to everyone standing in it, but the big deal is this triggers Frostwolf Resilience. So you put down that Earthquake, big AoE slow, doing a little bit of damage to everyone, and then just constantly giving you these pulses of healing. Crazy. Sundering has been further nerfed as well, so the Sundering is now only a 1-second stun. So I'm like, Earthquake for Thrall is now actually really good. It was already decent, underrated, but now I'm really curious to see exactly how this is going to work. So instead of having that like team split, like engagement, team splitting tool, have him even more as this bruiser role, right? I'd even like to see them make Thrall a multi-class hero. I would like to see that. Make him like a warrior / assassin like Varian. Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. He's very like a warrior in a lot of ways, but this is nice. You know, you just get that big AoE zone control and just giving you all that health as well. That could be pretty interesting. I'm very curious to see how this works out. Obviously, the Sundering is still fantastic for splitting teams and getting picks, but it's just a little bit weaker now, and definitely making Earthquake a lot more appealing. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see. So let's see what they said here. They're still only whole in making balance changes because we believe they're actually very powerful. You know what? I actually do feel that has been the case with Earthquake. I do think that Earthquake is better than people think, but Sunring has always been taken. I'd expect to see things start to mix up. I think that Earthquake might have been a little bit sleeper, a little bit of a sleeper talent, and it's definitely going to be pushed over the edge now, especially with the Sunring nerf as well. Yeah, cool. Expect changes. All right, Zeratul, here we go. Things are going to get a little bit crazy right here. We're going to go into the game client to show you this stuff because there's as you can see, it's kind of crazy. We'll read through the goals and then we'll take a look at this stuff in the game. But anyway, just stuff to know from the start. His base health has been increased by about, just a little bit less than 10%, I don't know, so a little bit. And then tiny bit of base health regen as well. So he's a tiny little bit tankier. His W now costs a good chunk more mana, but his blink is now a lot cheaper. So in total, your sort of combo is still going to come out as about the same sort of mana cost, but blink is a bit cheaper. Right, let's just go check out the developer comments first. So 2 goals about this rework: make his talent tree better with new choices and sell the fantasy of being a Dark Templar. They don't want to change the way he's played, but amplify and improve upon it. He felt the same to play against with a couple of new tricks up his sleeve. They'll like it, and they feel like more of a mobile shadow assassin. All right, here we go. Let's jump in here. You go away. Zeratul, where are you? That's Azaria. Here we go, Zeratul. Right, let's go into it. So, first of all, Vorpal Blade is now here on Tier 1. We will do a gameplay, by the way, of Zeratul in case you want to see that. It's still the same as it used to be. You can activate it to teleport to the last non-structured target attacked. Greater Cleave is still here. However, the other stuff has been removed. We've got a new thing, Shadow Hunter. Gathering regen globes lowers the mana cost of Blink by 2. When you gain 20, basic attacks reduce the cooldown of Blink by 0.75 seconds. Pretty interesting, right? So after, you can gather up to 20, and I presume it's capped at that point, and it stops. But that is, 40 mana off Blink, making Blink, it's 50 mana, so a 10 mana ability, which is a pretty interesting deal. And then basic attacks reducing the cooldown. Now, I think we still have Rewind, and you're going to see it's going to actually work in new ways. But I'm expecting, I'll tell you basically, I think the Zeratul build, I think Vorpal Blade is still going to be the go-to for like high-level Zeratuls. But the other ones are pretty interesting overall. This will obviously be a more sustaining type thing. You could do some interesting tricks. But then Greater Cleave being sort of your generic, just do a bit more damage and wave clear, that sort of thing. But Vorpal Blade for top-level play is still the same. Level 4 is really interesting. This is like big damage talent here. What do you want to take? So you have Grim Task. Takedowns permanently increase your ability power, but you lose it on death. It's basically gathering power. I think he had something like this before. Well, he did have it before. I'm not sure exactly what state it's been in recently. I can't remember because I haven't used it. It was there, but yeah, definitely a high risk, high reward talent. Up to 40% more ability damage, which is huge, but you do lose it on death. Alternatively, you can get Rending Cleave. So your Cleave will do an additional 40% damage over 3 seconds. This seems better to me. It's like 40% more damage on your Q from the get-go. Then your W does damage. Your E doesn't do damage. Your Heroic doesn't do damage. So that's 40% damage on your Q. You miss out on the damage on your W, but it's there, always there, fully stacked from the start. You never lose it. Now it's over time as well, but that's an interesting choice. I'm leaning towards Rending Cleave a bit more. Now the one I'm kind of more interested in though is Combo Slash. It's basically follow through. When you use an ability, your next basic attack will do 40% additional damage. So you get follow through from level 4. So Zeratul's going to be doing a lot more damage from level 4. Vorpal Blade, Combo Slash, like you're going to be able to do some pretty crazy stuff, even Rending Cleave, whatever you want. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the Vorpal Blade, Combo Slash, basically the sort of same style of gameplay from Zeratul we've always seen. Level 7 then, here we go. This is where it's getting even more crazy. Wormhole is here at level 7, and it's for 2 seconds. I think it was 1.5 seconds before. Can we even see that? Level 13, level 13. Level 7 here, is it Wormhole? No, okay, so it's the same. Never mind, I'm incorrect on that. It was always 2 seconds, well, since they nerfed it a while ago. But yeah, Wormhole is now from level 7, so you're gonna have some pretty crazy little combos you can do from there. You also have Slip into the Shadow. You get an additional charge on Blink, but its cooldown is increased by 8 seconds. So I don't particularly like this one, but it goes to an 18-second cooldown instead of a 10-second cooldown. Going to be interested to see what it does. This one is pretty cool too. Secret in the Dark Singularity Spike takes 50% longer to explode, but it can be reactivated to blink to the target, and you get move speed for 3 seconds, so you can kind of chase people with your W. I'm still thinking Wormhole. And this is probably, we're going to see probably this the same Zeratul build. as before, at least at the start, and then maybe new builds will arise. But certainly, like, the idea of Vorpal Blade into combo slash, and then the Wormhole, just having all those things, like a talent here earlier in all of them. Whereas the level 1 before was kind of shitty. Now you get the Vorpal Blade earlier, get Follow Through earlier, Wormhole earlier, so you can be doing all that Zeratul cool stuff from much earlier in the game, and that's pretty awesome, honestly. That's pretty damn awesome. These things are still the same. I'm a bit surprised and disappointed they didn't buff Shadow Assault, but they didn't. It's still probably the worst heroic in the game. It's really bad, whereas Void Prison is so good at high levels. So yeah, I expect Void Prison to be the choice still here. Now level 13 is going to be your defensive talents. Shroud of Adun. You get a shield equal to 50% of your max health over 5 seconds while under permanent cloak. So you cloak, you start building up a shield up to 50% of your max health. Doesn't... That's... Excuse me, that's a buff to his W? That should be a buff to his trait. Bug! Report Blizzard bug! It doesn't seem that good. Spell Shield, obviously the same as it has been with also the toggle thing that's been added recently. That seems obviously still fantastic. And then Mending Strikes, basic attacks heal for 40% of the damage dealt. I think this is going to be the go-to. I think as well that makes combo slash very appealing. You're going to get a lot of healing off your basic attacks. I think that's kind of awesome. Level 16 then, we have Master Warp Blade, so every third consecutive basic attack against the same target will do basically double damage with a little bit extra. That's kind of nice. Obviously works well with the other ones to a certain extent, for sure. We have Void Slash. If Cleave hits more than one enemy hero, important, it does 40% increased damage, and its cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds, so it goes to a 3-second cooldown from 6, so half the cooldown, 40% extra damage if you hit more than one hero. The one, though, that I'm really interested in is this one. Sentenced to Death. Do 50% increased damage to enemies while they have a singularity spike attached to them. That's pretty brutal. You could also combo that with Seeker in the Dark right here. Takes 50% longer to explode. How long does it take? After 1 second. You'd only get like... How long is that? Is that 1 second or 50%? Okay. You get like 1.5 seconds. Nah, okay. I'm not too keen on that. I think Wormhole still. Mending Strikes. Over here, Sentenced to Death. And then, of course, level 20 is still the same. You still have Rewind, and that's the crucial thing. So, I mean, late game Zeratul is going to be nuts. He's going to be crazy. Like, you blink in with your Wormhole, you know, hit them then with your 40% extra damage, then get a W on them, then the Q, your basic attack, Rewind, then, you know, a W, basic attack, Q, basic attack. You're going to do so much damage. 50% increased damage. His burst with Rewind is already stupidly high, and now it's going to be even higher. And that's basically the same Zeratul build we've had before, except with these extra things. More healing and self-sustain as well, which is nice. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what this Zeratul is going to be like. I'm pretty excited for that. I definitely think we're going to see Zeratul played an awful lot. He was already good. This just seems to make him better. I really like the rework that they've got going on here. I hope you guys are excited too. And definitely be curious to see the other styles of Zeratul gameplay that will emerge as people get used to these new talents. But there you go, guys. That is Zeratul. Abathur can't cast Toxic Nest for half a second after exiting Symbiote. Okay, cool. Sylvanas can possess Catapult minions. I don't know if that costs more. It used to cost more. I don't know if it does. I don't think so. Nope, you just grab enemy minions. So that actually makes possession kind of good. I still don't think it's anywhere near as good as the other ones. You know, like, sure, you can use it to capture catapults, but by the time you capture catapults, it's really late in the game, and the enemy is probably very close to winning the game. So, I think, you know, having Barb Shot, or usually just Barb Shot, is going to be much better. This is huge, actually. Something people have been asking for a long time, but Skeletal Mages is now vector targeting. So like the way you can target Alarak's W, his telekinesis, you can now do the same with mages from Zul. So just help, because if they go into a wall, they just don't cast, right? Or the mages that are on the wall just don't appear, so you get less value. This lets you just perfectly align it. That's actually quite a large buff to Zul. And that's really nice, just helping you like you can put the mages like in a line between the enemy team and you, making it really hard for them to dive on top of you, or again just create the wall, or you know, just line it up through a choke point and escape point. Very cool. I'm a big fan of that. Next we got Kharazim. Some big changes here. So Breath of Heaven does a tiny bit more healing, just because, why the heck not? Let's hop over to Kharazim over here. Alright, so level 1, his Iron Fists is now going to give you 30% move speed. I think that's just, yeah, it didn't give you anything like that before, but every third base attack, 30% move speed for 2 seconds. joining the Samuro and Varian club with the move speed for 2 seconds on hitting basic attacks. Great, good stuff. Level 4, we got huge changes. So check this out, guys. So you now have these three options of different allies to create. It will create like a colored version of Kharazim there on the map. And one of the big things is that you can use that as a dash target. So for some cool escapes, some cool repositioning during fights, you can use this ally. But they also do other things. First of all, you got the Spirit ally, 45-second cooldown. They don't all have the same cooldown, by the way. This is a 45-second cooldown, 150 health, lasts for 10 seconds, and heals allies nearby for 2% of their max health every second. So 20% of their max health over the full 10 seconds. But it's quite squishy, but still, big healing cooldown. Quite nice actually as well from level 4. Could be very powerful on certain maps like Infernal Shrines or Sky Temple, something like that, where you're in one particular area, or Towers of Doom. I know, lots of maps. Next you have the Earth ally. Now this is only a 30-second cooldown and has 400 health, so substantially more health, much more tanky. You plop this down, reduces the basic attack damage that your allies take from heroes by 50%. This is a massive deal. You basically give like permanent block, like the shitty version of block, but still permanent shitty block to all of your allies nearby for 10 seconds. And it's, you know, it's got 400 health, but definitely that's a very, very, very cool sort of like counterplay to add in for Kharazim to fight against heroes like Tracer, like Vala, like Raynor, like the Butcher. Lots of these heroes, you know, you plop this down, boom, against a new Zeratul. There you go, against a new Zeratul. Pretty nice. Just a way of, yeah, just I like that. That's a very specific way of counterplaying. We have a lot of like, you know, some heroes have block. I like the ETC's got the block party now. But I feel like the spell protection is more common. But protection against heroes with basic attacks is a cool thing to add a bit more of. Then finally got the Air ally. Unlike these two, so this is based on charges. You can have up to 2 20-second cooldown, but they are very squishy with only 75 health. They grant vision in a large area around it. Don't know if that reveals stealth. Not quite clear from this. And you can dash to them. So this is obviously the one. It gives you more vision. This will be the one that's handiest for using dashes because it's a short cooldown. You got multiple charges, so you can use it to dash around it. So this is more of the utility one. I love all this. This is a really interesting choice, and you can definitely see you mixing these up depending on the map and the enemy team's composition. Huge fan of that. I think as well, just the theme, super cool. Love it. Absolutely dig it. Level 7 then, no cleanse. Cleanse gone. Bye-bye. Though there is a cleansing thing at level 16 we'll get to. So you can get Blinding Speed, reduces the cooldown on your dash by 2 seconds, and you can dash an additional time. Pretty nice. You can also get Heavenly Zeal. This is like utility stuff. So your W by default gives 10% move speed. This now gives 25% move speed. How long does that last? 3 seconds. So 3 seconds, 25% move speed for all of your allies. That's actually quite a large deal. That's pretty huge. And then Blazing Fist, every third attack reduces the cooldown of Deadly Reach. Now, the one thing I will say about this Kharazim rework actually is that it doesn't have the coherency, I feel, of the recent hero design where you have like the defensive talent tier. Like, for example, this is like your Spirit ally tier. That's pretty cool. This is your trait tier. That's pretty cool. This one is a bit more wonky. It's like, okay, more mobility for yourself, more mobility for your team, or kind of like more damagey type healing. That's a bit of an unusual choice. It doesn't quite fit, and that's sort of the same with his other talent tiers. He's got more divided talent tiers. I can't quite think of the word, but yeah, there's more variety within the talent tiers. Level 10 is still the same. Divine Palm, 7-sided strike. I don't think those have changed. In fact, I still will check. They have not changed. That's all fine. Okay, level 13 then. We have Quicksilver. So when you dash to someone, it gives you and the target 30% movement speed. So a lot of movement speed at adding things for Kharazim. Definitely solidifying him with as well the additional targets, the allies to dash to, as this very mobile hero. Mobile himself and mobile for his teammates. So definitely giving him that niche, which I think is awesome. Because Oriel kind of came in and took over a bit of the AoE healing niche. Now Kharazim is getting this movement speed boosting niche, and I like that a lot. You can also get Fist of Fury, so your Deadly Reach lasts longer. Again, like I said, a bit wonky. Then you got Spell Shield, and then Sixth Sense, which is also another basic attack thing. So again, he's also pretty good against basic attack heroes. When you get stunned or rooted, you block all basic attacks in greater block, basically, for 4 seconds, which is pretty damn cool. But yeah, again, like I said, you know, you've got like personal defenses, then again a sort of personal defense utility thing, and then Deadly Reach. That's a bit more unusual, right? You know what I mean? Then over here, here's his cleanse, not until level 16, but you get every time you dash, you make an ally unstoppable, and that seems huge. That seems so useful. You could just dash, again, with multiple charges of dash, like over here, you could reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds. So every 10 seconds, you can dash to someone, and you can have 3 charges. That's 3 charges of cleanse. 3 charges of cleanse. That's awesome on a short cooldown. So that's a very big deal. Like I said, he's all about that mobility, this Kharazim. I love it. Way of the 100 Fists then. So when you dash to an enemy, you launch 6 basic attacks, doing 50% extra damage. And these will trigger your trait now. They didn't before, but now it does. So you're gonna trigger, so each, your trait is like every 3 attacks. So you're gonna trigger 2 heals, you're gonna trigger 2 chunks of bonus damage, or you're gonna trigger 2 seconds off all of your abilities. So that's pretty sweet. That's definitely adding a lot to this talent. They've moved it way down the talent tree, but made it much more powerful. And much more integrated into his kit, so I like that a lot. Echo of Heaven, this has also been tweaked. So your W only heals for 75% of the normal amount, but then heals again 3 seconds later. So for a total of 150% healing, so 50% bonus healing, but it is much more spaced out. So less burst healing, but more sustained healing. Pretty nice as well. And then Dash of Light, when you dash to an ally, increase the healing they receive from Breath of Heaven by 50% for 3 seconds. So you can like, I like this is an interesting choice, the sustained AoE healing, or, you know, be able to burst heal someone just a bit quicker. I suspect for the sort of play that you guys are going to be doing, the Echo of Heaven will be better. Or Cleanse, I don't know, I don't know actually. All of these look like pretty cool. I like that. That's good when you're like, now of course it's PTR, so in a month or 2 months we might look at this and go like, well of course, you know, Cleansing Touch is like the go-to in 90% of the cases or something. But on PTR, it's always a good sign when you look at the talent trees and go, oh, I like all of those. Because sometimes you get heroes and you're like poor old Dahaka. Remember when we had like his level 16 thing, you're like, okay, get a shitty heal, 20% range on that, or like a slow, and the slow was worse before. It was like, when that was on PTR first, we were all like, that really doesn't seem that great. I'm a bit disappointed in that, but there you go. Then level 20, it's still, I think everything is still the same. In fact, let's double check. Yes, everything is still the same. So there you go, guys. Some pretty cool stuff right here. They want to give Kharazim some more compelling choices at every tier. The Iron Fist Bruiser style Kharazim is viable. They're increasing its damage uptime and removed a lot of generic talents, and gave them Kharazim specific options and rearranged the tree so you don't have to sacrifice as much healing to pick mobility, utility, or damage. So making him a bit more generally useful, a bit more flexible as well, and also allowing that Bruiser Kharazim to be better. It was really bad before, honestly, so hopefully it's good now. I don't know. Again, it's kind of interesting that they've done the multi-class Varian, and then Kharazim really stands out as a hero with his level 1 talents that could very much fit into, again, another multi-class hero role like Varian does. But they haven't gone fully in on that. Instead, they've given him a more generic rework, leaving him as a support. What does Varian say? Does it say multi-class? Yeah, multi-class Warrior Assassin. But they've added the multi-class idea in this patch. But they've also reworked Kharazim, but they haven't applied the multi-class thing to him. Maybe a little bit disappointing, but on the whole, I do think this rework also looks really fantastic. Nerfs to Leoric, so March of the Black King doesn't do damage behind him, which makes sense, I think. But sad, I think they're saying, oh, people are sad, and we know this, and yada yada yada. Rejoice in the future patch. So basically, yes, we know we're nerfing Leoric when he's not, you know, amazing right now. He's good, but not amazing. But we will be revisiting him soon, and that's good. And there you go. Then we just have some bug fixes. I actually didn't read through these. I'm sorry. I got too excited. I was not lazy. I got too excited. That's the problem. But there you go, guys. Some very, very cool changes in this patch. Very excited to see the Zeratul rework. Ooh, all my quests. Hooray. Very excited to see the Kharazim rework as well. I love the identity they've given him. Like Zeratul, he seems like he's going to be very much the same type of dude as he was before, just better and more flexible. With Kharazim, I feel like they've given him a really cool identity as this movement speed based hero, and I dig that. I think that's awesome. And then, yeah, Illidan with the W stuff, and then of course Varian, the first multi-class hero, who I will be looking to jump on and test out real soon. Anyway, guys, this has been a 33-minute video. Thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy this one. I will see you all next time for more Here's the Storm. Stay tuned for the PTR stuff, guys. Give this one a like as well if you liked it. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.